Audio-Technica put out a brand new turntable that is something that no one else has ever done. It levitates, and I know what you're saying. Other people have done this, but they haven't done it that way. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. We're also going to talk about our the past week, Tom. We've been super busy. We haven't been able to do a ton of content, but we've been at Axpona, which was crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's like the biggest HiFi show of the year. So we can talk about that, and then you have a new HiFi system set up behind you. So maybe we'll get into what's in that system too.
Sure.
But we should start. Have you seen this new turntable?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, you haven't seen this yet?
I mean, you mentioned it earlier today, but no, I haven't.
I just mentioned this is what we're going to talk about, and that's kind of it. So you get to see it for the first time. So Audio-Technica has launched a levitating turntable. Now this isn't out yet. It's just been advertised online. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of this turntable. It's the Hotaru turntable.
Whoa.
Okay. Right? See that? Pretty cool. Are you on the Audio-Technica website?
I'm just Google imaging this.
Yeah. So here's the difference, right? So people have done. There's actually a famous levitating turntable. If you just look up levitating turntable, there's one from mag-lev, the world's first levitating turntable. There was a real big video from Unbox Therapy on this turntable. Huge, right? But I believe, if I'm not wrong, there's not a ton of information out on this turntable yet, but there's a huge difference between the mag-lev and the Audio-Technica. So it's pretty wild. And it's not just looks. So you see, not only does the platter float, but then there's a base under the platter that floats. And the tonearm is on that floating base. So the entire thing, from what I can see and from what I'm reading, the entire thing floats. So the other floating levitating turntable, the mag-lev, the Unbox Therapy one, the tonearm did not float. So with this one, everything floats on this base that sits above, we'll call it the platter, but even the bottom's not a platter. There's a lot to this. This is pretty interesting, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm trying to read up on it and then also listen to you and doing all this and also shoot a podcast on it at the same time.
Surprise! See, we don't script anything, so we're just kind of winging this. We also, we've tried setting this up a little bit because we wanted to bring you guys more content, but sometimes in running a company and doing other stuff, we always don't have time to do as much as we want. And if you're not familiar with our company, All Elite Audio, this video is brought to you by All Elite Audio, which is our company where you can upgrade your HiFi system and we can help. So you can go to alleliteaudio.com or just call us, text Tom, and we'll make your HiFi system better. That's what we do. That's what our job is. And to entertain you on what we're hoping to be pretty constant episodes of this, along with other content. So back to the turntable, the Hotaru turntable. This is due out probably towards the end of the year, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. Audio-Technica is very strict with everything they do. Quality has to be really, 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 really good. So, but I'm hearing end of the year, and they've got a price on this. Now, this is in euros. It's 10,000 euros. And I don't know, what is that, Tom? What is 10,000 euros in US dollars? Can you find that?
Sure.
And it has the entire, not only is the platter glowing, but the base of the turntable glows, and it levitates with the tonearm on it above what is not just, it just kind of looks like a base, but it's actually not. And there's a story behind the bottom of this. So the bottom is actually a speaker, which, right, your face, which is even crazier, right? Because you would think you would not want a speaker right under your turntable, but it can do that. It's a speaker, and look, you can. I'm pretty sure you can use external speakers with this, but the theory behind this turntable was that you could put something in your house that maybe you don't have a big hi-fi system, you just want like a standalone interesting turntable to a talking piece that's like a quality piece, that just really stands out, but it also just plays music.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a whole new concept that nobody's ever done. I would love to hear, what people think in the comments of this kind of build. But, first off, and we'll get to the speaker and stuff because I'm interested in that. You can actually I think you can actually hook a subwoofer up to it.
So wait, it's like a standalone thing? Like you don't need, you could just have this turntable and just listen to music?
That's it.
Okay.
From what
sub out?
And there's from what I'm reading, there's not a ton.
There's not
of information, but we have the Audio-Technica website. There's no picture of the back. Let's get to the glowing part, right? Because this is very unique.
We'll see what's actually going on, but yes, yeah, the glowing part does look gorgeous
because it's not just the platter; it's the whole base, and you can change the color, which is wild, right?
Okay.
So you can change it to different colors and all that. The other thing that is interesting about this, so there's a story behind the name Hotaru. Hopefully I get this right, Hotaru. It's named after a lightning bug, I believe.
Okay.
I feel like I read all this stuff up on this and I can't find any of it right now that I'm trying to dish out facts.
Actually, no, they really don't have a lot of info on their site. That's the thing. I feel like you got the full insider scoop on it.
Okay, so Hotaru translates in Japanese to firefly, so lightning bug. But firefly is it's a better name. It's a better name, firefly. They're going to limit this table to only 1,000 worldwide.
Wow.
And the pricing, at about $10,000. Now, different countries could be different things, but we'll just say it's about $10,000.
It's like a little under 11.5.
Okay, so it'll be and prices may change within a year, so we don't know.
They could, yeah.
That's a thing. It's very interesting because like this platter is suspended magnetically, floating above the base.
So is it full on floating then? Like, because I've seen that where the platter will actually float in midair.
Yeah, well, you've seen where
that kind of magnet effect that they do, or is it just like floating like an old school?
No, it's floating like a magnet. But the thing is, the whole assembly, including the tonearm and the motor, float. So it's kind of like there's a turntable where everything's in this floating, lit up,
like hovering, like levitating.
Yeah, it's all levitating. Right? So it's like a translucent acrylic floating base, which is just, this is something that I would, would want in the house. So I was excited. Like, there's no information on this, but I'm like, we need to talk about something today.
Sure.
And I'm like, this was just on my mind that I needed to see this. Now, the base features solid brass feet for stability and has an integrated speaker system. And the audio output comes from a dual 63.5 millimeter full range driver paired with 19 millimeter tweeters. And there is RCA line outputs and a subwoofer connection. Right? So lots of, like, you can use it as a standalone or, and with this, I'd honestly probably use it as a standalone.
Yeah, that's actually besides it floating and doing all that stuff, I mean, the whole thing where it's like a high end, I mean, I would assume it sounds pretty nice.
I mean, at $10,000, and you know how they're built. You've been to Audio-Technica. You know how they are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's a totally different approach to like high-end turntables where it's, the smaller kind of powered systems. I mean, that kind of stuff is super accessible. I mean, that's going to reach like a wider audience with all that, and it's very cool.
Right, because you're going to have people who aren't into hi-fi, who
they're just doing turntables and speakers and buying vinyl.
Yeah, and like to have something that glows like this, and like there's just a speaker system built in. I mean, that's I know it's.
Does it actually? I'm sorry. Does it actually put out phono? Like, maybe that's not. It's not.
It said it puts out line level, so I would assume that there would be a switch. But you're right. Maybe there is no. Maybe the phono is just all. But usually there's a switch with them. There's not enough information for me to confirm or deny what's on the back of this.
Can either confirm or deny.
It does look like it comes with a VM stylus, so you can upgrade the stylus on it. If I was to guess, if it does come, I don't know what VM it comes with, but it's if it's a whichever VM series, it's probably going to be at least start like when they did their previous clear turntables, a VM 95 Shibata. But like you could have an even higher model on this. I'm not totally sure. I'd love to hear what people think about the built-in speaker, right? Because I feel like this would be controversial, but I actually really love this.
It's definitely a
what do you think?
It's a unique way to do it. I mean, we're a turntable like this, you would just assume it's just your standard phono out, you got the system, but go put in a VM powered speakers. I mean, it's really it's more of a collector's item. It kind of fits into the home differently. I mean, it is a really unique look, and you can still play your vinyl, but you're not necessarily, I don't know, it doesn't seem like something you would get if you're just trying to like get the most out of playing your records, but it kind of just does this whole unique thing. It's pretty cool.
I mean, I'd get a lot out of this. I mean, that's just, it's just me. But, when we get to talking about Axpona, that was my highlight of Axpona was seeing a turntable that was lit up.
Oh, so. Did you actually get to see it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Yeah,
were they playing it? Did you get to hear it?
No, I told them don't even turn it on.
Okay.
I just said if I had a turntable, that would be my turntable. But now I saw this one like yesterday, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. So the other thing you got to think, all the people that like isolation, it's fully isolated. There's no more isolation that you can do in your turntable than have it float.
This is true. Yeah, they're saying that there's a magnet on the platter and whatever. I guess it's a plinth, but it's got a speaker built in. But there's like a magnet on each side, and they're pushing against each other.
Yeah. So like you can't have any more like isolation than that. I'm very excited. One thing I don't like, and I'm usually pretty vocal about this, and it's no offense to anyone, and I totally get why it's a thing. I don't like when products are announced like somewhere, because I don't even know. I mean, it's on the Audio-Technica website, but it could be on like the Australian, or I don't know what countries, they have different countries on their website. I don't know which one this is under, or if it's under the US. It looks like it's under the US. I don't like when something is announced and then I have to wait like 6 months. Like, is this a GTA 6 type of thing? Is this right? Like everything happens before GTA 6. So like you announce something and I can't get my hands on it, drives me nuts. Does that bother you?
No, I mean, I guess with me thinking about it that long, no, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I've definitely, been there. Yeah, no, like it happens all the time where I see something that comes out or that is going to come out, and no, I just get excited for it. And sometimes it doesn't really ever come out, or it comes out a little differently. But I just always assume things are trickling out, and excited to have that happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, is there a remote with this thing? Like, it's almost mysterious. It's like they gave just enough information to get you kind of questioning things.
Maybe they're just feeling people out. Like they're just kind of putting it out and seeing like, what's the reaction of where we're at with this? So they can go a lot of different ways.
It came out after the first, there's a lot of crazy hi-fi stuff that comes out on April 1st, but it's not an April Fool's.
Is that when
thing.
It got announced?
No.
I was going to say, man.
No, a couple days ago, I first saw this.
We might have got.
No. I think I read it on one of the HiFi news websites, and I went right over to Audio-Technica and I checked it out. Like it was legit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. I'd love to hear what everybody in the comments thinks of the Hotaru Firefly Audio-Technica turntable, because it is a pricey item, for an Audio-Technica product, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this will definitely get a reaction.
And I mean, remember, they're only making 1,000 of these,
mm-hmm.
and so that's worldwide. So like typically how I see, and it with a Japanese company, that could be anything. You don't know how they're going to split it up. The US could get 500. A lot of times US will go 500, other countries will get 500. But, it could be 200 in the US. It could be just what they pre-order. It's going to be super limited. And I think there's like, when this hits mainstream, like if this turntable hits like mainstream press in some way, or like the TikTok thing, or so, like people are going to want this because it appeals to outside the audiophile.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like there's plenty of non-audiophiles. Not every non-audiophile has a LP60. Like there's people that just like, I was editing a podcast that I did with JJ French over through Axpona weekend. And he was telling a story when he worked at Lyric HiFi up in New York, which if you guys haven't checked out the Axpona podcast, go to the Axpona channel. So I actually enjoy podcasting. So this is kind of fun for me. Anyway, he worked at Lyric HiFi and a guy came in to buy a like $25,000 turntable. And he said, well, what kind of system do you have with this turntable? What do you think the answer was?
I assume with the way this is going that it wasn't anything that nice.
You're wrong.
Oh, okay.
You're actually very wrong. He had no system.
Okay.
He didn't play vinyl at all. He just thought the turntable looked cool and wanted to put it on the shelf as a piece of art. And you're talking $25,000, and I'm not saying he worked there last week. This was in the 80s.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, that's even
right. Right. So for a collector or for somebody that's into art, or like these could just instantly sell out. Like just if you think about it outside the audiophile like niche, if this was to be taken mainstream, there's plenty of people out there who could spend $10,000 on a turntable. There are, and there's plenty of people that can't. But like, if it hits them, like this could just instantly sell out, and then everyone will want this. Yeah, and they're not going to make another.
Yeah, and it could actually kind of get people into hi-fi. I mean, even they sell the 1,000 and that's fine. But like just the whole press release and everybody knowing about it, like the kid that's buying vinyl and looking for a cool turntable to have, and whether they're in a dorm or a little apartment somewhere, they're into that part of it, but not so much the full systems or the high-end cartridges or anything like that. And they might see this and kind of get into the audiophile world a little bit, because I do really think that when people understand hi-fi, they get way more into it. And this might be an educational thing, and it does this and that, and then all this stuff, and yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'd love to talk to the person at Audio-Technica that thought of this.
We can probably make that happen.
They probably just like are thinking of all these different strategies and angles, and it's cool.
Well, so this is actually the company's second installment of their Analog Naturally program, and I don't know what the first piece is.
Yeah, I saw that, but they've been around a while. Could have been.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't but I definitely think you're right. Like one of the things that this industry always needs is to be more mainstream. And if you get out of that niche, and this kind of product, regardless of the price, there's people out there like you're doing a video on a $10,000 turntable, but you have to understand, like
this is a unique situation.
There's a lot more expensive stuff out there. Like think about like if we were doing like cars, right? There's $5,000 cars and there's $5 million cars. Like there's So, and I think this just appeals to so many people, and I try to get more detail of this stuff, right? I try to get some insider information. Like when I did an Axpona podcast with John from Audio-Technica, and he kind of hinted at another clear turntable, which we all knew the first turntable that Audio-Technica gave that was clear was a huge success, sold out like instantly. And this year we're supposed to get another, according to the hints. Like it was never like totally laid out, but there were some hints in that podcast that we were going to get another. So that's exciting too. So if 10,000 is out of your budget, maybe there's another model coming out. Like Audio-Technica's got some exciting. Why do you think every time we drive through the area, I can't wait to stop by? And how was your first experience at Audio-Technica, by the way?
It was great. So, I mean, being into audio for a long time, being in one of those isolation chambers, or what's the term for those, where like you can hear your blood pumping and stuff.
Yeah.
That was very cool. That was like a very unique experience, but it was cool actually seeing like the operation of an actual brand, vendor, manufacturer, whatever. I mean, they're at a very large scale, but seeing all the engineering that they do, all the work that they do with the mics, and it was very cool.
Did I show you the Japanese garden?
No.
Really?
That's there in Ohio?
It's there in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a whole Japanese garden.
Yeah, that's cool.
With the trees and all this crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
So the anechoic chamber, I'm sorry, yes, I had to look it up because I can never pronounce it right. No,
I need to start doing that. That's a great
right.
Google.
Yeah, right, and we turned the lights out when we did that. Did we turn the lights out with you?
Mm-mm.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, dude, me and John turned the lights out, and it was wild. Because then you lose all sense.
Yeah.
And you can just hear all your it's everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be for sure.
So we stopped there on the way to Axpona. This was your second Axpona, right?
Yeah, because I skipped last year's, the year before this, but yeah, this is the second one. Mm-hmm.
So how did you enjoy it? Now I know you didn't get around, right?
Yeah, but I love Axpona. It's a great time. It's just the whole industry kind of gets into, because there's other shows and we go to other shows and they're great, but Axpona is the one where everybody's there. We got to stay in the hotel this time, so there's Stan, but we were just
hey Stan, that's Tom's dog.
Yeah, he's getting on the couch, but I can kind of I do, these cameras you can like make it follow your face. I can do that and walk over there, but no, but Axpona was really cool. I had a great time. I miss it. Everybody's there and you get to hang out after the show, and it was fun.
This is always the worst time of the year when the shows are all over, because there's no more shows till there's a couple shows out there, but like the ones that we're usually frequenting start back up in October.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you miss everybody for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And it drives you nuts. So what was your favorite part?
I mean, you're correct that I didn't get to.
You didn't get to see anything, right?
No, I haven't seen anything at any of the shows unless it was like my first one. I mean,
we did get to go up. Like, didn't we go to some after party stuff where they had like rooms open?
Yeah. With Fidelity Imports, got to listen to Q Acoustics, and we got to hang out with Rob at Playback, and got to listen to some esoteric and really nice Amphion stuff, and that was really, really nice.
They had the new Luxman 100th anniversary set. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw that. That looked clean.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing. Like if they that would be a system I'd go for. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know who would, but
I love like the Luxman look, and I do love silver, but the black looked pretty tough.
Yeah, we don't really get to see that much. You're right. Like even I was filming the whole time for the show. Like you were in the room, so you got to do a lot of her room display.
Yeah, and the room was great.
Did people like the room?
Yeah, no, I
don't know if we ever talked about it.
As far as working a show, I mean, it was probably the best experience. I mean, there was just, we had the gaming going on. I had, the Flyers playing the Blackhawks the whole time.
Do you remember when the people came in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the score is like 15-2," and they were all checking their phones because it looked like it was an actual game?
Yeah. but like there's that, like the systems were sounding nice, and we were very prepared for it, which was nice.
It was
And yeah,
just
it was just a
us.
good time. I mean, I think that was kind of the big plus about being the affordable hi-fi room, and we had really nice stuff in there. But it was more laid back. Everyone was very, very friendly. I do like going out to the Midwest. It was a great time.
Is that considered the Midwest?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No, I like doing that route where we can go through Ohio and
I do like that
go to
route.
Indianapolis and then go up,
Yeah.
to Chicago and do some stuff up there. So it was fun. And that was kind of a theme, right? With the show was that it was the affordable hi-fi room.
Mm-hmm.
And because that was one of the things a lot of people brought up about the show is that there's a lot of stuff there that's just unobtainable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to check it all out, and it's not always unobtainable to everybody, but in theory, the problem in the industry is you need to get new people, and then you don't have anything that's entry level ish for people to come in. So that's like we were there with Axpona doing this room to make it affordable for people who wanted to get into hi-fi or just wanted to see what was obtainable.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, that was good. We had a really nice system with the leak sandwich 250s, and we were going back and forth between advanced Paris and Parasound stuff, and we had a whole bunch of stuff in that room that it was sounding really, really good, and the pieces that we were using, you definitely can acquire. But I mean, the goal was definitely to get people, kind of getting them into hi-fi and stuff. I really do think the thing that does that the best is understanding it. So anyone that grew up and their parents were into it and they kind of have a background, they're into it. I truly believe you could get any kid and get them into, a sales job at a hi-fi store, and once they kind of learn about hi-fi, they're into it for the rest of their lives. So it's really just about education and kind of doing all that, and that's really what gets people into it.
And what you said there, like I'm the JJ French podcast that I edited today, and it's coming out probably like next week at this point on the Axpona channel, dude. It's that like I won't spoil it all. If you haven't watched any of my Axpona podcasts, and there's one that you start with, it's the JJ French one, which will be next week. I think that'll come out. But it's he started with hi-fi equipment, and he kind of talked through how he got into music, and back then he got into hi-fi again, and not that he ever left hi-fi, but the whole his stories are wild.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have guests like this on this show too. Guests like that on this show, like just random. I love the musician thing because there's definitely a gap there between musicians and hi-fi, which it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up in that world. I mean, like I was into, I played drums and did all this. I went to school for music tech, and I got the synths and everything. But I remember just feeling like I one day wanted to have a room that was just for listening to music, and I thought I had like invented that. Like I just didn't know anything about hi-fi at all. But I don't know. It
that
just
doesn't
totally
make any sense.
Work. I know, isn't that crazy? But I didn't know anything. All the speakers I was using, they were all active. I didn't know anything about the like kind of electronics about getting a speaker to perform and all that stuff's kind of the nitty gritty. But once you kind of get a sense of that, you're pretty hooked.
What do you got in your system behind you right now?
Can you name it
without looking?
Yeah. No, I mean it changes all the time. Right now it's a bunch of audio lab stuff going into a big Parasound amp. So it's a 9000N and a 9000 CDT going into the 9000Q, which is the separate preamp they just put out. And that's going into the Parasound A21 Plus, excuse me. And that's going, I got the Monacoustics, the VC ones right now. So they're getting they're 4-ohm speakers. I mean, I off the top of my head, I know it's like, the
A21, what's that, like 800 watts in the 4 ohms?
It's probably less than that. I don't know if it doubles.
It probably is less than that,
but it's 600-700 watts, but it's pretty cool. Like, I'm talking about speakers performing. I mean, it's like the snappiness, the punch, any little articulation, and just being super clean. I mean, the A21 has been very cool. But the Audiolab stuff also very clean. So right now the system is, there's not like a lot of tonality. It is just all about accuracy and performance, and it's been pretty fun. Just very clean.
So there's
like
tonality. Oh, go ahead.
It's probably like the highest quality system I've had in this room.
Yeah, you got the tonality of the Audiolab trickling into the power of the A21 Plus, and the A21 Plus 400 watts into 4 ohms.
No, it's 400 watts into 8 ohms, isn't it?
No, it's 250 into 8 ohms.
Oh, okay, that makes me feel better.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm wrong. Oh my gosh.
Because I'm worried about blowing the tweeters a little bit sometimes. I mean, I don't blast it that loud, but I do listen pretty loud. But yeah, it's a big boy.
I'm supposed to know this stuff. That's why that's why we use them. So you have it in your house. I don't right now. So.
It's the first time in my place that I've had an amp that isn't starving for anything for the speakers.
Okay.
I have all the power that it needs and then some. I mean, there's headroom there. I don't know if that really is the right word, but it's pretty cool. I like listening to the speaker at full, just, if there's a quick
500
peak,
watts.
it just does it. Okay. So that's
308, 500. I looked it up.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I can't remember every spec on the top of my head. 300 into 8 and 500 into 4.
Okay. Well, still, I mean, the VC1s only want like 250, and so I'm gonna look that up. It's gonna be like it's 150, but something like that. It's plenty of power, and it's it would be cool. Like I would love to get like a John Curl amp and really get like the crazy high quality, but just it sounds great, and having that just the full performance of the speakers is very fun.
Maybe that'll be next.
Maybe.
On the next episode, we'll talk about what I have in my system right now, which you can never guess because you never know what I'm going to have.
Yeah, I don't even know what you have in your system.
I don't either, but I was very excited when I hooked this one up because it was actually the first time that I ever hooked up this model in a house, because things are different in a store than they are in a house. Like I always kind of told people that. Because the environment, it's always going to sound better in the house. So if it sounds good in the store, it's always going to sound better in the house.
They don't call it store audio.
No, it's home audio for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was fun. I think, the levitating turntable, I hope everybody, lets me know in the comments what they feel about this. I feel like it could be a hot topic.
I feel like you're right. I think you might be right.
And, it could be a hot topic for Audio-Technica with me putting out a video 8 months before it comes out. But, what are you going to do? It's public information. I only read off the public information.
This is true. Yeah, you should.
It's not that I didn't try to get non-public information, but I only had the public information.
I'm telling you, I think they're putting it out there a little bit to see what everybody thinks. And I think they are giving themselves room to kind of change things around.
I love it.
Not that there's going to be like, little things, just kind of spec wise.
How about some like floating glow in the dark
headphones?
Yeah, look at that.
That would be.
I got Audio-Technicas on right now.
Yeah.
Those are
W900s.
They are great for
affordable.
Like noise cancellation.
Okay.
Even though they don't have active noise cancellation, but they fit so well that it just seals up. So I'm enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
But that, I enjoyed this. This was fun. We got through the first night. It feels almost like a live show, but I'm glad that it's not, because that's just, it's a lot more dead air when you're live. Yeah,
no, it's a very different format, but we'll do it a bunch. And
be nice if we could do 5 a week. Could you imagine?
Yeah,
5 really half-hour episodes every night. You could just listen to our crap.
Yeah, I like it.
But if you did enjoy and you're not subscribed, do so, because you know how YouTube is. Only 20% of the people that watch the videos are actually subscribed to the channel, so you should do that. And if you're looking to build a hi-fi system, you should give Tom a text or a call, and call us All Elite Audio. Check out our store, alleliteaudio.com. Tom and Spencer and me, we can all help you get a better hi-fi system, because that's what our job is, to do that. So this was fun, and we're gonna have to do it again tomorrow. Maybe, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
Cool. All right. I don't know if we have an official title. If are we using the 100 Proof HiFi podcast? Are we doing that?
We don't have a title. We don't have an outro. We don't have anything prepared.
Dun, 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 dun. Do I have sound effects? Oh wait, I do. Wait,
I heard that. That was the classic, the horn.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't think I heard that.
There's a monitoring switch on the mixer that'll.
Well, I think everybody enjoyed this though. Listen to him right now.
Sorry?
I played a clapping sound.
I didn't hear that one.
I didn't either.
I only heard the horn. Oh, there you go.
Oh, you guys are too much. Tom, you've been hilarious. It was fun. Your jokes are just on point. I always wanted to be on a sitcom. That's, we have to use that one. I like that one. So, all right. For Tom and Lenny, hey, go check out Tom at Tom Bryan HiFi on YouTube. You don't have anything there yet, but you will soon. So it's okay.
I'll actually upload something this week now that there's no more shows and all that craziness. So
yeah, it'll be great. I know I'm feeling that now. Like we're back. We had a rest after that, but I'm ready. So we will see you guys next time.